All right, what's up, everybody? I'm Eric.
And I'm Shawana.
And this is Okay So, Season 2,
Yes,
Episode 1.
New feeling, new energy, more interaction. It's just going to be live, right?
That's right.
And we're
topics.
standing this time.
Today, we're talking about what questions or conversations are important to have with our children.
So just so you know, so we're focusing on relationships, right? So we're talking about relationships with our children, relationships with our partners, with our friends, with our coworkers, with ourselves. So this question is kicking off our season, and I'm excited. I think it's a really important question.
It is, and we got some really important responses. My good friend Richie, about microaggressions and how they are different from other types of hurtful things, and how it is important to be aware of them and stop them.
Right, so let's just say, microaggressions are pretty much like verbal or nonverbal, sort of like slights, snubs, insults that we get every day. Sometimes they're intentional, sometimes they're unintentional. And it's usually geared towards a marginalized group. A lot of times when we hear about microaggression, they're talking about racial microaggression, right? We can talk about gender microaggression, just any sort of marginalized group, whether you are a woman, a person of color, LGBT persons, people with disability, even religion. So like, where do we begin to have this conversation with our children, and what age do we begin? So Claudia said, friendship and honesty, betrayal, boyfriend and girlfriends at probably the age of 14, sex at probably the age of 15, and pregnancy and childcare at the age of 15.
So much
leadership and self-esteem. I mean, this is full, and this is so true. I totally agree with you. This needs to be done. However, Mariah said to her that she believes that the ages that she's quoting are a bit, either too old or too young. So at 14 or 15, most teens are already sexually active. And I'd say to have a talk with them earlier, especially the ones about sex, say 11 and 12. Claudia disagreed to that. So it was kind of like heated on my social media page. But it was exciting because these women were passionate. Both of them have children, so they're passionate about it. And I think it's really important. So I don't know, what age do you think that parents should start talking about sex?
Honestly, I'm not talking about sex per se, but we're not shying away from the things that are related. So he knows about his no-touch zones.
Yes.
And I don't think it's ever too early to start
that conversation.
Start having those types of conversations.
So who's next?
Jeff Epps.
Okay.
Jeff said that our value is not in appearance or attire. It's not in possessions or in belonging. Our value is the sum of our contributions, interactions, our empathy and intelligence. And he tells his son that he loves him and that he's proud of who he is every day.
I think that's amazing. Well said, Jeff. That was awesome.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it is truly important to live by example. So if we expect our children to do certain things, we need to emulate those things, right? So you can't be in the supermarket yelling at somebody for doing something, tell your child, you know what, even though mommy did that, you shouldn't do that.
Do what I say, not what I do.
It's really important that we lead by example and that we live a more righteous life so that our children can follow in our footsteps. So Charlene said, I have a teenage son. We talk about being a young Black man, white privilege, police, girls, sex, masturbation, hygiene, grades, saving and spending money. I could go on forever. Girl, I hear you. We have to be more candid, very candid, and have conversations. I completely agree.
The thing that's kind of tripping me out about this is the masturbation thing. I ain't talked to my mama about that.
Right.
But I also have my dad in the house.
Right.
So it's a different thing.
So did you talk to your dad about it?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I think it was something that I'm sorry, Dad. Maybe we did, and I just
I have daughters, and women do this as well, but I think, girls don't talk about it. It's not a thing. I don't think. But then I don't know, because it wasn't a part of me growing up, but I know young men, it's a thing. I remember, I want to share a story, and I don't know if I should share this story. I remember going into a little cousin's room, and I'm like, your room is a mess, and you need to clean up your room, and I'm seeing all these tissues all over the place, and I'm picking up, and he's like, no, don't touch my stuff, and I'm like, you gotta, and I'm putting the tissues, and as I'm like, why are there all these tissues around his bed? And y'all, I remember thinking, I'm just gonna let you clean up your room. And I went to wash my hands. But that was like, I don't know why and how it just hit me, but it hit me. So like, yeah. Anyway, continue.
Well,
Let's
there's something
continue.
about cleaning up after yourself too. Vero.
Okay.
Self-love, self-care, sexuality, healthy relationships,
All right.
social media, safety, respect,
All of that.
consent, and much, much more.
Yes.
Definitely consent. I just had a talk with my son about consent.
Okay. Tell me about it.
Well, we have a bunch of friends and they love to hug on him and pick him up and play with him and kiss on him. And, he told me, he said, I don't like when this person does that to me.
Wow.
And I said, well, that's okay for you to tell them that.
Yeah.
And then I also told him too.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important. I did the same thing with my girls. I had this thing about, I grew up in West Africa, and there's a huge rate of sexual molestation, to young girls, and it's a problem. Not only there, here as well. And so I've always taught my daughters, to be aware of touch, who's touching you, not to sit on the laps of men, not to talk to strangers, be it men, be it women, just like literally if you're with me, make sure you ask me. If not, just don't speak to them, and it can get awkward because somebody will be speaking to them, hi, and they're just like, All right, and so the last one is from Miriam. She says, I am proud of you and I love you. I think those words are so profound.
Powerful.
Extremely powerful. For me, this is something that I do every single day. When my girls are random times too, when they're doing homework, I'll walk by the table. Hey baby, do you know I love you? If they're in the bathroom, I'll knock on the door. Yes, mommy. I just knock to say I love you.
You leave notes?
I do. I do.
Kids?
I put notes in their
Remember you
lunch
saying that.
boxes or their book bags or in a notebook or something,
That is so sweet. That's like,
you have to.
I think it's easy for us to think that we show our love, so it should be apparent.
Should be understood, yeah.
But we tell our kids things all the time, and we think that's worth saying.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah. So I love you is, if anything, if we should leave you with anything today, it's telling your kids that you love them. That conversation is a must.
Definitely.
I think it was a great way to end the show.
Word.
Right? So thank you for watching today. Make sure to comment, to like, to share.
Let us know what you want to talk about. We're talking about relationships. This is your show.
So thanks for watching. I'm Shawana.
I'm Eric.